Donald Trump would sell this country for $1 if it meant lining his own pockets and greasing the palms of his Wall Street friends.
Now, I like this speech from AOC. AOC worked as a waitress and a bartender and has become a congressperson and is good in public. Let's have a look at this speech and just, I wonder to which policy she is pertaining and referring with the claims that America will improve. And remember, again, this is sort of mad. Like when you watch all of this kind of righteousness, you know, this is the party that's in government right now. Like they're in government right now. Now. Like it's like sort of, isn't it like the kind of pleas that you would offer to a bewildered, lost and weary lover? I'll change. I promise you I'll change. Why don't you change now? Change now. You're in government right now. You could be doing this stuff now if you wanted to, if you were serious about it.
Ever since I got elected, Republicans have attacked me by saying that I should go back to bartending. But let me tell you, I'm happy to any day of the week because there is nothing wrong with working for a living. Because we know that Donald Trump would sell this country for $1 if it meant lining his own pockets and greasing the palms of his Wall Street friends.
But then, God, what about when Joe Biden spoke to the financial industry, literally on Wall Street, and said, I can promise you nothing will change. You've got nothing to worry about. It's all of the enthusiasm, all of the excitement. What is it founded upon? I can tell you quite literally nothing. And we'll get into that in a minute because they're still using the documentation that they had prepared for a Biden candidacy. They don't even change the name Biden.
And I, for one, am tired of hearing about how a two-bit union buster thinks of himself as more of a patriot than the woman who fights every single day to lift working people out from under the boots of greed, trampling on our way of life.
Now, let's get into this. The harsh facts of the matter. There are no policies. CNN here, come on a journey with me, where CNN, under the tutelage and stewardship of Jake Tapper, discuss how Joe Biden's policies are still present in the documentation that accompanies Kamala's candidacy. Why? Because it's better that it's vague. Why? Because it's better that no commitment has to be made. Why? Because this entire election is being fought on the basis of obfuscation. Like, what actually are you voting for? As this convention demonstrates, it's little more than an attempt to engender certain emotion, just to whoop up a storm of meaningless enthusiasm. And that sense that you have got, that understanding that you have, that there's nothing there, that the emperor is not only naked, but also scabied, is now demonstrably true on the basis of this discussion. Have a look at this and pay close attention.
David Chalian, President Biden dropped out of the race a month and a day ago. You wouldn't know that if you read the Democratic platform because it repeatedly refers to President Biden's second term. There are roughly 19 or 20 mentions of President Biden's second term. They've had a month and a day to update it. Why haven't they?
Yeah, there won't be one of those, Biden's second term. We know that. And, listen, the platform was largely the draft of it put in place and voted on earlier this summer. And I think in talking to some folks, the idea of reopening the platform to try to fit in not yet fully developed Kamala Harris policies while they were quickly changing, they thought they would be opening a can of worms, right?
Not yet fully developed, i.e. there are no meaningful policies. They're not going to fight on policy. They're going to fight on keeping Kamala Harris out of the way, hoping that the constant media condemnation of Trump and plus his own style of rhetoric, let's face it, are enough to galvanize those that loathe him into voting. So it's an entirely negative campaign. It's not based on a vision. Why is it not based on a vision? Well, because the Democrat Party work for the same interests that ultimately have their claws into all political parties, whether you see this from a bureaucratic deep state perspective or what Mike Benz would call the blob, or from a global corporatist perspective and the kind of interests that control corporations, the kind of bureaucratic interests that seem to be able to manage policy, whether you see that on a global level, something like the WEF or the IMF or the WHO, or something like the Atlantic Council, a kind of a think tank that will capture control of the Democratic Party. What we're ultimately discussing here are superficial and emotive issues, and which ones are more evocative to you.
And that there would be all of a sudden some fights about what goes in the platform, and they wanted to avoid that at all costs. So they're willing to take the hit on the fact that the platform is sort of a relic of the Biden era, because it's a non-binding thing. They'll vote officially today as part of the party business to put it into effect. But as you know, it has no binding capacity.
Meaningless. They're going to vote on a meaningless document full of meaningless promises for a meaningless party in a meaningless election. My God, what are we going to do?
Right. And we should note that this also allows Vice President Harris to stay vague, stay, unspecific. That's from the Biden platform. That's not ours.
Let's just stay vague. Vagueness is our friend. At a time where you need clarity, transparency, decentralization, real leadership, honesty, a true vision for whatever side of the political divide you stand upon, surely we agreed upon this. This is an apocalyptic moment. War is mounting everywhere. Disease is mounting everywhere. And yet, through these trials, we may emerge victorious if we were willing to receive the relevant lessons. This we can at least do individually, for surely the establishment is not ready for those lessons. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. Remember, we stream every day. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel. Be part of this movement. We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners. Hey, this is exciting. We've got a great partner today. It's Rumble. But beyond Rumble, it's Rumble's latest venture. Let me ask you first, are you a Sleepy Joe type character with zero cognitive performance, struggling to muster focus and brain power for basic things like running the United States of America? You've got to stop drinking woke liberal coffee that hates you and your way of life and start your day by drinking Rumble's very own 1775 coffee. This is going to be the best tasting coffee you've ever had. Seriously good, ethically sourced from a family farm in the high altitude mountains of Bolivia. Not in the Bolivian lowlands run not by a family but by a single man still living with a pet. No! Instead of waking up and drinking your big corporation owned woke ideology coffee that's probably making you sick from the pesticides it's sprayed with, try Rumble's 1775 revolutionary coffee. Support freedom of speech. Build a parallel economy that actually values you and loves you. My favorite? It's dark, of course. Level up your morning routine with a 1775 coffee. Sleep all night knowing your hard-earned dollary-doos are going towards supporting freedom-loving creators like me on Rumble. Visit 1775coffee.com now. Pick up your first bag. Use the code BRAND to save 10% on your first order. Oh, come on. Why choose, Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.